CS. Cho'Gath being picked up first round for CS Gaming. And then we also see Caitlyn picked up for Bang. We will see the Hecarim hover as well. Now, here, Hecarim obviously very strong at the moment. One of the more interesting characters in this game. Obviously, when he was released, they said that his Q did one thing, but in fact it didn't. And then when they fixed it, it turned out it was too strong, so they removed it. Or nerfed it, rather. So, has had an interesting history for sure. We will see him picked up for Nessun in the jungle. Jinx being picked up for Teemo main in that bot lane as well. So we are seeing this, both teams line up start to flesh out a wee bit. Yasuo being hovered for Serendipity in the mid lane. That's going to be an interesting one. Yeah, and he is locked in. Serendipity for CSR picking up the Yasuo in the mid lane. Be interesting to see who is picked in response. So I imagine it's in the mid lane. Obviously, Cho and Yas can do a bit of a flex there. And obviously, we see them switch around. Who knows? But it's going to be interesting to see who is picked up in response to these rather interesting synergistic champions. Leona being picked up for Trigger in the bot lane. Now that is a scary lane for sure. And second round bans Thresh being taken away from Wolfbloods. Obviously now the supports off the board, you want to deny as much of that disengage or counter play as you can. Enable Leona to get onto that Jinx, set up the kills nice and easy so they can snowball this bot lane as hard as possible. Be interesting to see who is banned in response. Obviously, the solo laners for this Rune Renegades Academy team have not been picked, so we will see Fizz banned away from Jughead Jones in the mid lane.
Yeah, so I'm actually really excited to see whether Serendipity is going to pop off on this Yasuo or going to be the classic bronze Yasuo and just go 0-21,
I mean, this is iron to gold, so I mean, even a Yasuo in gold is going to be interesting. LeBlanc being banned away from Jughead Jones, as we see Nautilus also denied in their bot lane. Now, arguably, this leaves one very obvious support available in the bot lane. Alistar is available and synergizes reasonably well with Jinx, and Yasuo is able to help with that disengage into that bot lane as well. So I think we might see that come out for Wolfbloods, as we see Renekton and Jax respectively picked up. And there's the Alistar. Like I said, obvious pick into the bot lane, has that synergy, and I would imagine... Actually, I have no idea. This could be Jax jungle, this could be Cho'Gath's jungle. I would like to think it's Jax jungle, though.
Yeah, definitely. I'm assuming it's going to be that Jax jungle, or it could be Yasuo top and Cho'Gath mid.
Yeah, it could be. We will have to see how that goes, obviously. And coming into this last round of pick bans, we do see the Orianna locked in for Jughead Jones as well. A decent amount of synergy there. Now, it is looking like it's going to be that Jax jungle, as FPS Chewy has played a reasonable amount of it in the last few games, so we will see that coming out for him. But, these teams have rather interesting synergies lined up. Obviously, for this CS team, they're looking to set up around that Yasuo, get the knockups, and while that's all happening, Jinx is just going to try and pop off and do some damage. Whereas on the other side, for this Rune Renegades Academy team, they have got some serious wombo coming out. They've got the Solar Flare, they've got Hecarim's ultimate coming out as well, plus the Command Shockwave from the Orianna. So it's interesting. I like these comps, but what do you reckon, Kyro?
Realistically, late game, it's all CS Academy. However, depending on, obviously, the individual matchups with Renekton versus Cho'Gath, Orianna versus Yasuo, Caitlyn Leona versus Jinx Alistar, will be the deciding factor of the game. Like, for instance, last game in the Iron to Plat, Super Monkeys had the comp that should have won early, but Absolute Zero won early, and that could very well happen here as well, so it could just be another stomp. I think, again, that if CS Academy go even or ahead in lane phase, they will win. If they don't make a mistake, obviously. If they're behind, it is still win. They'll just have to turtle and not allow Rune Renegades to roll over them. And on the other hand, Rune Renegades needs to come out ahead in the lane phase to implement their win condition.
Oh, I don't know, mate. That's a lot of pressure to put on an iron to gold team, not make mistakes. But obviously, you know, with these teams, they've got such pivotal champions coming into these team fights. And yes, I wholeheartedly agree with you that there is the potential for this game to swing either way, depending on how they play. Obviously, you know, Jinx, that insane hyper carry, if she can make it to the late game, paired with a Yasuo who just shreds armor as well. And, you know, we've got, you know, almost a mid-game powerhouse out of this bot lane. Bang Bang and triggered on the Caitlyn Leona. If you get caught by that Leona early on, it doesn't matter who you are, Jinx or Alistar, I think you're going to go down.
The best case scenario for CS Academy in a fight in the bot lane is for Alistar to knock away Leona as she E's in, so as to cancel the E closing the distance and denying any follow-up CC onto Teemo main.
Well, even if Alistar does that, he's risking so much, you know, potential damage onto himself as well. So I just don't see a situation where this lane goes amazingly well for CS Academy. It's just
I can't see a world where any of these lanes go well for CS Academy. But again, it's all about where the jungle focus is going to be. I think, to be completely honest, I think Jax should just power farm. Hecarim's going to be looking for these ganks. So what CS Academy need to do is just play completely safe, let Jax scale. They all they need to do is scale. They don't need to look for anything early. If they scale, they win.
Yeah, sure.
So that's all they should be looking to do. They should just be looking to live lane, farm up, and scale. It's very simple, but again, it is iron to gold. We could see someone get greedy.
I imagine we're going to see a bit of a fiesta here, but obviously, like you were saying, these teams looking to scale, or CS Academy for sure looking to scale up. But it's really going to be interesting to see which, you know, Drake comes onto the map early. Obviously, if it's an Infernal Drake, it's going to be so huge for both these teams, and it's going to be interesting to see how they prioritize it going into this early to mid game. But as we are loading onto the Rift, you know, Cho'Gath opting for that Glacial Augment build, so looking for a bit more chase down potential there in the top lane. And, you know, nothing too out of the ordinary otherwise we see in terms of keystones here. Interestingly, though, the one other thing that is a bit strange is Jughead opted for the Comet rather than Eerie.
And also opted for Ignite rather than, like, a Cleanse, for instance, for the Jack Counter-Strike stun.
Yeah, Barrier even would have been good, but we also see, believe it or not, Hecarim going the Smite Ignite build, so looking to go balls to the wall here and commit as heavily as he can for these kills. But yeah, I think this mid lane could go rather poorly for Rune Renegades Academy if Jax is able to get off an early gank.
Yeah, even then, blow the flash and then give the Yasuo lane priority. Where the Yasuo wants to do. Like on paper, Rune Renegades have the better ranks. However, it all comes down to how they play the matchups. It all comes down to how they play the comps. If CS Academy do... I forgot the pause, so we'll just pause at 20 seconds.
Alright, and yeah, I can imagine that, you know, it being a Jax, we probably will see a bit of a couple of early shenanigans coming out here. Obviously does have that great Counter-Strike lockdown as well. So I am ready to go when you are.
I am also on your count.
3, 2, 1. We are back into it. Interestingly enough, we see Triggered opting for that minion dematerializer in the bot lane as well. Not something I'm used to seeing off of a support.
Yeah, so that'll just help with their lane shoving potential. So, for instance, if Leona has a charge on Relic Shield, uses Minion Dematerializer on a full health cannon, it's still going to count for the proc with the Relic Shield. So it's just going to allow them to shove those cannon waves that much faster.
Yeah, most definitely. We see a bit of aggressive positioning coming out of CS Academy here. It does force Bang Bang back with that ward, so Rune Renegade's not really that keen to get into any sort of tussle at this stage in the game.
However, I believe if they had the same amount of champions in that area as CS Academy did, then Rune Renegades would come out on top.
Yeah, arguably that Zenith Blade, such a huge tool in lockdown. Oh no, she started Shield of Daybreak. Interesting call there, honestly. I think Zenith Blade is probably arguably the best start for a Leona. Gives you that range lockdown as well. But we will see both junglers starting at their red buffs. Renekton starting there to help. And we did see an early couple of wards going down, giving vision of that Raptors camp of this Hecarim as well, so they know exactly where he's going to be going. Whereas, I mean, Rune Renegades can only guess it to where Jax is going.
Yeah, and we've also saw Bang Bang go straight to lane, not even try and hide where their jungler started, just to get that lane shove and priority. And as they've warded the blue buff, that just means that they'll easily be able to rotate with the priority that they've already got themselves.
Yeah, and the early harass already coming down into Teemo main. And I'm not surprised we're seeing Bang Bang do this. You know, Caitlyn has such an easy time securing last hits with that headshot passive of hers. Whereas, you know, Jinx is arguably one of the champions that does struggle in securing some of that CS when pressured in. And we do already see FPS Chewy in this bot side. He is not looking too healthy, though, going for that full bot side clear. Whereas arguably Hecarim Ness in there looking a lot healthier. So I don't think we're going to see too much action coming out of the CS Academy jungler anytime soon.
Yeah, it's as I said, Chewy is just going to want to just power farm through early and mid game. Maybe get off a gank if Rune Renegades are actually overextending, but even being this far up, Bang Bang and Triggered aren't overextended.
I'm surprised Chewy's opted for this. He's sitting reasonably low, doesn't even have his blue buff, and Nessun is going to look to go in hard, does have that ignite as well. The failed flash coming out from Chewy does cost him his life there, as Nessun picks up first blood, completely unassisted. And he knows for a fact now that the blue buff is still up on this CS Academy side, but he is going to look for some action in the mid lane as Serendipity is pushed up reasonably far. The charge coming as well, but is able to jump through it. We do see the command attack coming out. The flash being blown by Serendipity is taking a lot of damage. We do see the flash ignite coming out. The ignite going in response onto Nessun as well. But Jughead Jones picking up a second kill for his team here as things are already starting to shift in the Rune Renegades Academy favour.
Yeah, what sparked that off was Jax walked over a ward, less than half health. And Hecarim was in the area because Hecarim was playing to his strengths, was playing to his rotations in his jungle camps. He was there to get the scuttle, and Jax wanted that scuttle too. And Jax just walked in, failed a flash, shouldn't have even flashed there, should have realised he was dead, should have saved the flash. That would have been good discipline. And then following on to that, the Yasuo Serendipity did not respect the Hecarim at all.
Yeah, no, and should have flashed arguably a lot earlier as we see another kill going over to this Renegades team as we see Nikita Poop going down early on that Cho'Gath. We see Hecarim returning for another gang into the mid lane. Serendipity's only just got back in the lane and he's already sitting reasonably low. And unfortunately though, we will see Jughead Jones probably head back to tower and arguably go back to base here and pick up some items. A bit of a mistake there from the Rune Renegades Academy. They took down Yasuo reasonably early on, and rather than helping shove the wave into tower, they sort of left it. And because Jughead Jones left it in the mid lane there, we could obviously Serendipity came back in a rather favourable position. Yeah, he took some damage here, but he's had a chance to come back into it. He's not sitting too bad in terms of CS, and it's just about that wave management. We already see a bit of an early mistake coming out from this Rune Renegades Academy team, when they could arguably choke out this Yasuo a lot more than they already have. As we see Triggered going in hard, does go in hard onto Wolf as well, does get ignited there. The Alistar getting reasonably low, and this is just that power of the Leona engage.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, I don't think Alistar did step over the trap there and get snared by it, but it was just that one auto, not enough by Bang Bang.
Yeah, and while that's all been going on, we do see Alright Mate going in hard onto the Cho'Gath. Unfortunately, he did blow Dominus just before, so it isn't available for the sour dive here, or arguably probably could have committed a bit harder and finished off that kill. But now you know, Cho'Gath is level 6, has that big chomp there, the Feast doing so much work to be able to not only make him a bit bigger, but heal him up as well. So I think Alright Mate is going to struggle to get a kill here if he does decide to go in. Cho'Gath's playing it safe, pulling the wave right back, and then trying to CS there with the Rupture instead. And it's interesting, I haven't seen any pings coming out of this Dragon yet, so neither team really too keen. And it is a Mountain Drake, so it could be a big thing helping, well, arguably helping the CS Academy team come back into it with that Mountain Drake and the Jinx Siege as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they rotate for these objectives.
But yeah, so yeah, in the mid lane we do see Serendipity winning these burst trades onto Jughead Jones. So Serendipity is an okay Yasuo. However, Serendipity died earlier, which is a bit of an overextension, and a good Yasuo wouldn't have done that.
We do see, no, what looked like a bit of a rotate there up into the top lane. You know, Alright Mate has been a bit aggressive here, has decided to stay in lane rather than backing off. Is going to continue to shove this wave in with that Tiamat, and we will see an early ward going down. After that scuttle going down, Nessun will pick up that ward in the Dragon Pit as well. And FPS Chewy, he's having a bit of a rough time, but here, any point where he looks like he can actually make a play, he's sitting very low on health as we see Nessun heading back in the mid lane, and they have no idea. He is going to go in on Serendipity, the charge does go through, the command shockwave busted off back as well, Serendipity getting very low, the ignite does come out, and Hecarim will pick up that kill as well. So that is 2 kills onto a Hecarim. Rampage just doing so much work there after the stacks do build up with that Conquerors. And sorry, no, it was the ignite out of Nessun, sorry. I forgot that he had that. But this is, you know, a Yasuo who is 0-2 in lane and starting to slip further and further behind in CS.
Yeah, and that's just good knowledge of the Yasuo's flash timer. Because Yasuo's flash timer is nearly up, but they took advantage of that and did a repeat gank to get that little bit of extra of a lead over him before he had that flashback up to be able to dodge the next gank. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Nessun looking to really bully Serendipity for the next few minutes.
Yeah, I would not be surprised either. And you know, interesting things are happening all over the map. Nessun looking to clear out this control ward in the top lane. No, he looks like he will go in for the charge. No, decides better of it, goes for that ward instead. And we really haven't seen FPS Chewy have any real impact on this game so far. He is opting for the attack speed jungle item, obviously, that Razor instead, but he has yet to contribute anything significant to this map as we see him going hard onto both Alright Mate and Nessun as well. Does get the counter-strike off as well. FPS Chewy getting very low though, opting for a very squishy build. Hecarim goes in, does get it down with the red buff burn as well. So that is a 3v2 in which Rune Renegades Academy came out better off.
Yes, and this goes back to me saying as we were loading in what CS Academy's win condition was. You know, play safe early game. They're making too many of these mistakes that are completely unavoidable. Like, you didn't need to rotate on that. Your Cho'Gath was safe. Hecarim wasn't going to be ganking top. He was resetting. Once you see that, you just run back down. But now Hecarim has an extra kill under his belt.
Yeah, and obviously Hecarim is one of those champions who does, you know, sort of snowball out of control when he gets a couple of those kills on him. That Rampage doing a lot of work when stacked up with the Conqueror as well. You know, the Onslaught of Shadows, such a huge CC tool in some of these fights as well. As we see FPS Chewy roaming around a bit in the mid lane. I'm not sure if this is the play though. He's reasonably far behind already, and he should really just be power farming, like you said, at this stage.
Yeah, like at this stage, like he should be power farming his camps, and if someone needs to back, he should be ready to take that wave.
Oh, we might see some shenanigans coming out of Rune Renegades Academy. Nessun sitting comfortably in this bot side river does have, you know, the ignite and the blue smite up as well, as we see the ace in the hole going on to Wolf Luz. Getting very low. Does Alistar not having a great time? Zenith Blade does go out. We see the follow-up Shield Daybreak and the Solar Flare as well, as we see Hecarim come in to clean up. We do see Jughead Jones pick up that kill onto the Yasuo. FPS Chewy getting a bit of a reprieve there as he gets a return kill on a Jughead Jones. We did see the last breath committed as well. Unfortunately, Yasuo not able to pick that kill up as we see this gank going perfectly for this Rune Renegades Academy side. As we see Nesson going in for a repeat. Timo mate having to flash away there just to survive. Very scared of this 3-0-2 Hecarim right now.
And very well done by Hecarim there to leave as soon as that flash came out, because there was no follow-up potential by Triggered or Bang Bang. But yeah, so
and we can already see.
So that kill on Jax will help, but it's probably too little too late. CSA are going to be leaving landing phase at 15 minutes behind, and that's what I said would be their downfall, and it's going to be.
I had thought we were going to see a bit of a lane swap here, but no, CS Academy opting to return to their standard lanes. Serendipity just going to cover the wave there, and we are seeing ping starting to come out on this Mountain Drake as well, so we might see this one go down very, very shortly as we see Hecarim going for that blue buff. I would imagine he's probably going to hand it over to Jughead Jones now. Such a useful tool on Noriana. No, doesn't look like that's the case. Nesson taking it for himself instead, and we will see things return a bit to the normal. We see Triggered going in here to clear out a ward. Not quite getting the combo off, and we'll get headbutt pulverized as well, as we see that the trap's not quite landing. We see Jax here, the Onslaught of Shadows going on a Jinx. We'll get that off. Triggered's taking a lot of damage here. We do see the Jinx go down to the Caitlyn. We will see FPS Chewy drop to Hecarim as well. If Wolf Luz catching the 90 caliber net. We see the Blast Cone going down as well. Orianna is here. The command attack does go down, but Hecarim will pick up a second kill as well. Serendipity does have to flash over to the Raptors as well. Unfortunately, he does hit it, so he does take a bit of damage there as well. But, you know, things going from bad to worse for the CS Academy side. They are 10-1 down, and they're about to concede a Mountain Drake.
That fight there, Triggered, was saved by Nesson being in the right spot at the right time.
Yeah, and obviously the level of communication showing in terms of the difference in this Iron to Gold League. You know, we see Rune Renegades Academy, a team who has, from my knowledge, been playing together for a wee while now, just communicating so much better and rotating so much better. Nesson in the right spot to help respond to that engage there. And, you know, we already see some significant leads coming up in this, you know, game as Tier 1 drops in the bot lane.
But yeah, and we go back to that Orianna's death. Obviously, it's not good for Orianna, but they still didn't give away that kill for nothing, because she did get the return kill on the Yasuo, and that's not what is going to help CS Academy win the game. They really need to turtle, they really need to stem the bleeding, and stop going for these engages when they don't have vision.
Yeah, and we will see the lane swap coming out here. Unfortunately, Leona a bit AFK in the base. They're not quite heading to lane with his ADC there. But Caitlyn heading up top. We do see a pause coming out as well. Not sure what that was. Looks like Jinx needed a drink. Sorry, Jax, FPS Chewy there, needed a drink. So the pause coming out. I think there might have been some connection issues as well for Triggered, because he hadn't moved for the last 30 seconds, so we will wait till that is sorted. But at the moment, Cairo, looking at the current state of the game, you've got a huge disparity in two of these, or three of these lanes even. You know, 1,300 gold difference in the mid lane, a 1,700 gold difference in the jungle, and almost a 2.7k differential between the bot laners. That is enormous.
Yeah, it's definitely not looking good for CS Academy. Unfortunately, they didn't play to their win condition, as previously stated, which seems to be a big factor in these Tesla League games actually being as one-sided as they've been tonight. Because in the first game that was streamed tonight between... who was it again? Absolute Zero and Super Monkeys. Super Monkeys didn't play to their win condition and was completely one-sided, and Absolute Zero took away the game super easily, and we're seeing the exact same thing here.
Yeah, and I think that's probably one of the, you know, big problems with this sort of level of play, is we see Bang Bang getting engaged on, will get feasted on as well, and that is a 500 gold Oh, sorry, 200 gold shutdown going over to Nikita here as we see Nesson coming to get involved. That is a 2-level disparity, but Nesson is so huge. Onslaught of Shadows to dodge the rupture as we see FPS Shui flashing in to help, but Nesson is doing so much damage right now, is able to just run his way out of the Counter-Strike as he turns for a re-engage. He is sitting very low and will get shut down as well. That is 800 gold going over to FPS Chewy as we see Triggered coming in and finishing off FPS Chewy right here. Yeah, meanwhile in the bot lane, alright mate, going in hard onto Teemo as well, but Alistar doing his job there will knock him away. Command Shockwave does go down, but the wind wall will block that damage there. Ignite going out. Serendipity catching the last breath onto Jughead Jones as well. Will follow it up and pick up that shutdown as well. So a number of key shutdowns going over to the CS Academy team in the last minute.
Yeah, you see, and that's exactly what CS Academy needed. They needed Rune Renegades to make the mistake. Bang Bang's mistake was walking into lane against a Cho'Gath without the Leona. He knew the Leona had DC. That's what the pause was for. Once unpausing, you don't head into lane against a Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath will chase you down. And
yeah, especially a Glacial Augment Cho'Gath as well.
And that shutdown was good for them. And then what happened was Cho'Gath died to Hecarim, gave Hecarim another kill, and then Jax got the shutdown kill onto Hecarim.
Yeah, and we will see this Rune Renegades Academy looking to take down Rift Hero as we see CS Academy coming in. FPS Shui does get jumped on here, does get to start the counter up. We're going down as we see FPS Shui dropping in the middle of this Rune Renegades Academy team. Wolfblood's doing what he can, but Nesson is just able to heal up so quickly with those Conqueror procs as we see Rune Renegades take the Rift Herald as well. And it's just CS Academy forcing fights they can't arguably take.
Yeah, like, yes, that they got very nice flash there by Teemo main, but they got greedy and they thought they could ride the momentum of that last series of events and win that fight, but they were completely outnumbered. It was 3v5.
And we are going to see the Rift Herald go down in the mid lane to deal some damage onto this tier 2 as it drops instantly with that huge smack coming out of the Rift Herald. And we will see damage being dealt onto a tier 3 as well, taking it down to half health. The Counter-Strike goes off as well. We do see the Command Shockwave land on the 2. Bang Bang picking up that kill on FPS Chewy. We see the last breath landing onto 2 as well. Serendipity doing work. Jinx picks up a kill onto Renekton. Orianna picks up another kill onto Yasuo. Jinx picking up a second kill onto Hecarim as well. And a bit of a stutter there as Bang Bang is enough to discourage this CS Academy team from going in. Teemo main almost copying the ace in the hole there as things just going from bad to worse. They had, their tier 3 tower take half its health of damage from that Rift Herald, and they decided to go in FPS Chewy, causing his team to lose 2.
And Cho'Gath can't stay here either, neither can Jinx, so they have to give up this inhibitor turret.
Yeah, 17 minutes, 45 seconds in, and a tier 3 tower dropping for CS Academy as well. Not quite as quick as the last game, but still reasonably early on for an iron to gold game. And, this CS Academy team are just bleeding not only resources, but objectives as well. And we will see an Ocean Drake coming up in the next 30 seconds as well. So we will probably see another dragon going down for this Rune Renegades Academy team.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if that is the case. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Sorry, people. Yeah, that's definitely going to be the case. Rune Renegades are still so far ahead and can win their fights with confidence.
I mean, to be fair, we did think that before everything went down in the top lane, and they were able to change an 8k deficit into only a 4k deficit. So we could obviously still see this Rune Renegades Academy team make more mistakes.
They could, yes. You're very much correct. However, it wasn't 8k lead. It's now back up to that 8k lead. So even though Rune Renegades made that mistake, CS Academy made a bigger mistake. They lost 3 turrets because of that mistake. All Rune Renegades lost was shutdown gold.
Yeah, exactly. And you can already see the huge disparity. 5 towers to 0 as we see All Right Mate going in hard onto Nikita. Nesson is here as well, charging up that big smack coming out from the Hecarim as well. All Right Mate is able to pick that one up as well. And, devastating charge, able to get him into position so quickly. Onslaught of Shadows going off as well. Does mean that Counter-Strike misses, and Nesson will hand over that kill to Bang Bang with the ace in the hole. And you know, Nesson obviously understands this champion so well because he's been playing around that CC and playing around all these key pivotal moves, and he's very rarely been punished for it.
Yeah, definitely. He is really positioning really well. I'd go so far as to say that he'd be able to easily climb with this Hecarim, playing the way he's playing. Obviously, it is helped off of the back of his team. However, he has been a pivotal factor in his team's success so far.
Yeah, and you can see that CS Academy. Yeah, Yasuo is going in hard. Does catch a Shield of Daybreak and the Zenith Blade as well. Teleport coming out from the Cho'Gath as well. Last Breath landing onto 3. Serendipity going hard onto Bang Bang. Does flash. Does get taken down by the Conqueror Rampage. FPS Chewy picking up onto Leona there. We will see Alright Mate turn around. The Command Shockwave landing onto 2. Does take them both down. And FPS Chewy is all alone right now. Cho'Gath off on the sideline running there. And that is a 4-for-2 trade on Leona and Nesson going down there. Arguably, still pretty favourable for Rune Renegades Academy.
Definitely favourable. They get this inhib down. They're going to get at least one Nexus turret. No, they're going to back out. And it looks like they're going to set up for a Baron play. Get that tier 2 top turret and rotate onto Baron as soon as Nesson's up.
No, it looks like they're going to go for the tier 2 in the top lane instead. The final tier 2 that is available for the CS Academy team, I reckon it's probably going to be quite uncontested. It's sitting pretty low. Caitlyn is super far ahead, and they will just take that one and back off. Leona and Hecarim back up on the board, and so is the entirety of CS Academy. Unfortunately, though, for CS Academy, a couple of their key ultimates are down. Command Shockwave going to be up very soon. So is Solar Eclipse, and we already see Dominus and Onslaught of Shadows available as well. So, look, I think if CS Academy are to take a fight anytime soon, they're not going to go very well.
No, they're going to need to give up this Baron, because even if they do a Baron dance while they're doing Baron, Rune Renegades are going to be able to stay healthy. Like they have a team comp where Renekton and Hecarim can just stay in melee range of the Baron, obviously hitting it and keeping healthy themselves. Triggered on Leona can just sit back out of the Baron pit and work as a deterrent as well. And because there's no lifesteal on Leona, so the ideal formation they want to have to take Baron is the Leona out with the Caitlyn, out with the Orianna, making sure that they don't get collapsed on, being that deterrent, and then they'll just take Baron as Wolf. Oh,
and we see Wolf walking into a bit of a death rush here. Throw down the ultimate as well. That Unbreakable will keeping him alive here. The snap traps coming out from the flame choppers coming out from Jinx as well on such a key choke point. Interesting call there from Rune Renegades Academy though. They sent Hecarim bot and they gave up what could have already been a dead Baron, but they will look to engage on it now. And there's not really a lot that CS Academy can do. They've got no vision of it, and they know last time that they walked in, Alistar almost died, so that is going to be a free uncontested Baron over to this Rune Renegades Academy side, and it basically signals the beginning of the end for the CS Academy team, because they can't really take any sort of team fight, as we see Nesson going in hard, and will look to engage the Solar Flare going down, the Onslaught of Shadows follow up. We do see Ignite coming up from Hecarim as well. Unfortunately, Leona and Hecarim getting caught in that Rupture as well means they have to disengage here. Another Rupture going out, landing onto Caitlyn as well, but they will look to just siege out this tower, try and slowly push it down with the Caitlyn, with the Orianna as well, and you know, we've got Renekton in the mid lane pushing in the mid wave as well of supers, and it's just preoccupying the CS Academy team so much they just have to give up the tier 3 and the inhib in this top lane.
Yeah, so what I would like to point out is Jax went with Jinx to give Jinx the red buff. And so they were outside of their base when Rune Renegades Academy were threatening that inhibitor turret just then. Yeah, and it shows the differing levels of shot calling in this Iron to Gold League compared to Iron to Plat, and even, you know, the open qualifiers, which we'll be seeing not long after this game is done. And we will see, rather than taking the Ocean Drake, they are just going to threaten this tier 3 in the bot lane, which, I mean, is a pretty smart call. They've got all the tools they need. You know, there's only so much engage that can come out of the CS Academy team, and there's not really that much follow-up considering how squishy Jax is, you know, how much damage is already coming out of this Rune Renegades Academy side.
with that Oriana. 2 items in already with the Sork Boots. Caitlyn sitting pretty happy with, the double crit items plus the IE. And let's not even talk about Hecarim, who's just so huge at this stage in the game.
Yeah, exactly. They're all huge. They are all sitting on 3, 4 items, and you see the side of
We do see the Super Mega Rocket coming out as well. Does literally nothing into this Rune. See the 3rd inhibitor going down for CS Academy, which does signal the double super wave starting to spawn as well. As Caitlyn looking to do some damage onto the Nexus towers as well. Come on, Shockwave lands onto 4, followed by the Solar Flare. Alright, mate, going in hard. Onslaught of Shadows does land. We see double kill over to the Hecarim already. A triple kill, a quadra kill, and we might see the Penta coming out here for Nesson. The Rupture lands underneath Cho'Gath. He will dive into the fountain for that Penta kill, but it is going to be denied, as we will see Triggered helping that minion wave take down the Nexus there. Bang, bang. And Jug Jones trying to finish off that kill on the Cho'Gath as we see the Tower fall in the 2nd round of the Tesla League Iron and Gold qualifiers. The win solidly going over to Rune Renegades Academy. What a game from Nesson.
Yes, definitely keen to say that Nesson was the contributing factor and the MVP for that game.
Yeah, 12, 4, and 12. Such a huge contribution. He was involved in all but 2 of the kills that his team secured there. Helped contribute so much to that objective control as well. He was such a force around the map. And it was solidly Rune Renegades Academy in the driving seat for most of that game. I think there are a couple of instances where they looked a bit shaky, but at no point were they not in the driver's seat.
Yeah, exactly. And sure, there were some mistakes, but they weren't game-changing mistakes. It did probably extend the game by like 4 or 5 minutes, but ultimately, Rune Renegades played to their win condition, and CS Academy didn't. It just comes down to that simple fact. CS Academy did not play safe in the early game, as safe as they should have. They tried engaging on some questionable things. Serendipity was overextended, blew the flash, still died, and ended up dying to repeat gank because of it. It was just all the little things that as well. Like Jinx was having trouble last hitting with auto attacks while pushed up under turret. So obviously, things to work on for both teams. Synergy was pretty good by Rune Renegades Academy. Could still get better, obviously. Always room for improvement. As we move on from this game, though, let's get a bit of an update from the other brackets. So, Rune Renegades Allegiance will now go on to verse Ches Professional. Unity Lust won against Monkeymen and are now facing Caitlyn Alter JFK. Yeetle the Beetle beat Behold Esports Red. And on to Iron to Plat. The Hellstorm Raiders are still playing against Absolute Zero. League Heist beat the Unfortunate 5 to get to the grand final for the Iron to Plat qualifier. Unfortunate 5 going to that 3rd place match. And onto the Open Division games now. Still 3 round 2 matches still to go out of the 4. The round 1 matches: 95X White beat Aquila Yellow. Purple's Kittens beat Phalanx. 95X Black beat Amber Seed. Aquila Red beat Thing Called Palmy. Weeknight Warriors beat Monka S. So we have, in the round 2 matches, Native Esports currently playing against 95X White. Purple Kittens currently playing against 95X Black. Aquila Red actually beat Design and Construct, so they move on to top 4. And the final game for round 2 is Behold Esports Black vs Weeknight Warriors, which is still going on. So what we're probably going to be looking at is looking to get 95X White, the winner of 95X White and Natives, to verse the winner of Purple Kittens and 95x Black on stream.
Alright, so you heard the man. We will be taking a very short break while we wait to finish out. So we will send you to the AFK screen, give you some music to listen to, and we will be back as soon as possible.